Terrific.
So a big victory for Bayern as they would take all 3 points. Let's get some reaction to that with Kane and Shaka.
Thanks, Dan. So an important 3 points for Bayern Munich and important goals for Harry Kane today. He needed those goals, didn't he, Shaka?
Yeah, he did. He's had a couple of opportunities of late that just squandered, very un-Harry Kane-esque. But today, he had a couple. Leipzig came up with a couple of good saves to deny him. But once he found his range, 2 really good finishes, 2 telling finishes from Harry Kane.
It's so hard to rattle him as well. You just hear Archie talking to him. He's just so focused on what's ahead.
He is.
But there's still more to play for. There's still the Champions League. Can this game act as a reset for the rest of the season?
Listen, there's a lot to play for. We were talking about a Leverkusen team that have gone undefeated so far this season. Now, God forbid, they lose one at some point during the course of this season. How do they react? These are things we don't yet know about Leverkusen. So for Bayern, all they can do is keep churning out games, keep churning out results. This was a big one today, and hope that that pressure gets to Bayern Leverkusen. But at the same time, as much as to start every single season, Bayern Munich are favourites, they're often judged on how deep they go in the Champions League. They have a little bit of a deficit to make up against Lazio in the Champions League, not beyond them, but they will ultimately again be judged by how deep they go in the Champions League. So there's still a lot on offer to play for them here. Despite all the noise and all the discussion about Bayern Munich, things can turn so quickly for them, but they've got to keep themselves in the discussion. They've got to keep themselves in the reckoning.
Tuchel said his mindset doesn't change in the fact that, OK, we've heard him saying before that he's going to be more ruthless in his decision-making when it comes to who he picks in his team. But in terms of what he's trying to achieve, he said that he's not going to change that. Do you think that will be the case for the rest of the season?
Understandable from Thomas Tuchel that his remit remains the same, regardless of the fact that whether he's going to be there next season or not, that he is going to pick teams to win football games. He's going to pick teams in the best interest of Bayern Munich as a football club. That is not my concern. My concern is how does the dressing room react to the news that Thomas Tuchel won't be managing next season? Who has the authority within that dressing room? While Thomas Tuchel may say that he's being more ruthless and asking different things of his team, how are the personalities taking to that? How are the personalities taking the decisions that he makes? How do they respect what authority, if he does still yield that authority, how he uses it to make those points that he may want to. It's less about Thomas Tuchel and more about the rest of the dressing room and their respect, or more to the point, lack of it for him.
Yep, so I suppose time will tell when it comes to Bayern Munich right now. So not too much drama this week for once with Bayern Munich, Dan.
Thank you very much. What about Shaka's sexy voice these days? Goodness me. Bayern Leverkusen, then 8 points clear at the top of the table. Let's get some reaction now from the Bayern camp. Let's hear from Thomas Tuchel and Harry Kane.
You've said that Thomas Tuchel was a big reason for you coming here. How is it for you knowing that he'll be leaving at the end of the season?
Yeah, of course, we have sadness because, he's a top manager, a really good guy. The club have made a decision to part ways in the summer and that's football. But from a player's point of view, we owe a responsibility to the coach, to the team, to the club, to fight for every point that we have this season, and that's what we'll do. We've got good characters, and that's all we can do, is just to keep working, keep pushing, try and build as many points as we can. Big Champions League game in a couple of weeks. So like I said, still a lot to play for.
We see how infused with energy you are on the touchline. I just wonder, how's this week been for Thomas Tuchel, the person?
Well, also for me, it's clarity. Decision was made on Tuesday, very, very quickly, more or less. I demand from myself to be very professional, and very quickly after this decision, I had a long drive in the car, and I thought to myself very quickly, within minutes, okay, why would this change now anything for you? Why would you work more now, or why would you work less, or why? There's no reason for it, and in the end, if that's my feeling, if you're very honest to yourself, doesn't matter if you like it, if you don't like it, if it relieves you, if it makes you sad. It's not the question. You have to deliver. This is top-level sports, and this is what I demand from myself. Now we have clarity. Gives me also a little bit of a freedom, because with every decision, if a player maybe gets mad, doesn't like it, I don't worry so much because in summer it's not my problem anymore. So from there we go. But in general, we have our relationship to the players is not disrupted or anything. Was never. And do you think a guy like Alex Pavlovic is now relieved that I'm gone? I don't think so. I'm the guy who lets him play all the time. So it's maybe not so important as we think, but we have clarity, and that's good.
Thomas, we'll see you in Freiburg. Thank you very much.
Expected maybe Thomas to light up a cigar during that. It's loving life, isn't it?
Although,
does it make sense?
No. I mean, let's be honest, he's driving in there every morning knowing that there's a load of players in there that are glad he's leaving.
Right.
He
doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, but that's even worse than if he doesn't care. I mean, what kind of working environment is that? There's no way you can be at your best in these circumstances.
Right.
There's no way. It's not possible, Dan. You might talk yourself into it and say that I'm not stressed anymore, and if I make a bad decision, it doesn't matter. No, he's kidding. I don't know who he's kidding.
It's interesting if he'd have made the decisions that he made today, if that decision on him or the amicable, however they came about it, his leaving the club, because he dropped Kim, the South Korean, who's been and is one of the best defenders in Europe. Now, is he playing as well as when he was at Napoli? No, he's not. He's not. But he's still, you know, when your back pairing is two players.
More Eric Dyer.
Is Eric Dyer, who was, I don't know how far down the list at Tottenham, and Matthias de Ligt, who clearly is not the apple of Thomas Tuchel's eye anyway. It kind of tells you where he is at the moment. But they managed to, keep RB Leipzig down to 1 goal, but it could have been a lot worse. And Kane, after missing the chances, bailed him out at the end. But it is it's a weird relationship now. And listen, this relationship, it could have, with all this talk about is going in the summer. If they'd lost today, that could have changed.
Yes.
And if they lose to Lazio on the second leg at home, or they don't advance, it could change again. So at the moment, we're talking about him going in the summer, but it could well be before then.
And lucky Gareth Southgate was in the crowd to see what Harry Kane could do.
Oh, that was fortunate, wasn't it?
Well, I'm a bit more worried that he's actually watching Eric Dyer.
Exactly, aye. Is it a surprise? You know, the fact that we're picking on Harry Kane because he missed a couple of chances tells you that we're not used to it. We're used to him being just sparkling constantly. So, yeah, Harry Kane's going to score lots more between now and the end of the season, whether Tommy Tuchel or anybody else is in charge of Bayern Munich.
Just a reminder then, the Bundesliga action continues tomorrow. We've got a double-header for you live on ESPN Plus, as we have every single game from the Bundesliga live for you, or 3 games for you, in fact. Eintracht Frankfurt against Wolfsburg, Borussia Dortmund against Hoffenheim, and the late one sees Augsburg play host to Freiburg.